Okay, Excellent Legacy here. I'm going to be simulating what I kind of experience when I plug in my computer, when I set everything up in the morning or at night, whenever I'm going to start streaming and recording. To do so, let's say, okay, because I go and I take my computer to work and I do stuff at work, and then I take my computer home, and then I have to plug in USBs and all that other stuff. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm still recording. I'm turning on my Xbox or my computer right now after plugging everything back in. You might be able to hear it on the side there. And there, everything started popping on. Republic of Gaming, because I have an ROG motherboard. Don't mind the stuff over here, that's actually a different computer. I'm hoping, since I didn't record this video a minute ago at a lower quality and then restart, that it doesn't think that I already fixed it and just made everything look normal. I'll start this up. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now let's do that. Now we're getting into Windows. Now Windows will start opening up programs that I already have ready and set up to do. What we want to see is our OBS. So let's start up OBS. Right off the bat, you'll notice that this is where the camera is supposed to be, and it is not currently open. It's currently set to be on. Oh, let me close this stuff. I don't currently have internet at the moment, so everything's failing to start up. But if you look at the bottom here, it says camera. Okay, let me zoom in. It says camera, and then under that it says green overlay, which is this, and then Kiyo, which is this. So let's turn it off, turn it back on. Nothing. Okay, so now let's back away a little bit here. You should be able to see the Kiyo as well. There's a little light at the top of the Kiyo that turns on when it actually is activated. Okay.
Why is this starting your car?
She shouldn't be. Okay, but there we go. We have this here. Let's move it off to the side a little bit. So at the top here, you'll see that USB video device right here is grayed out. That's what this thinks it is the USB video device. It's registering it as a new device every time you plug it in. And then, as you can see, when it does start up, you'll see a flash of light, and then all of a sudden it is black. The Razer Kiyo is plugged in directly to my motherboard in the back there, so it shouldn't be an issue where it's a hub or anything, but you will have the same issue with a hub. As you can see, it's still dark here. Now, if I go in and open the settings, so let's move this back over here for a second. We're gonna hit configure video. Well, no, let's hit deactivate first. We're gonna deactivate it, reactivate it, see if it works. As you can see, there's a flash of light. Even though no lights are being turned on or off, that is what it's supposed to look like, but it's not. It's as if the aperture on the camera itself up there isn't opening or anything. So let's hit video configuration. Now, inside of video config, you can see that well, things are kind of normal. The only issue is that if you grab the exposure and you drop it down, it just gets darker. Let me move this over here quick, and then move this over here so you can see it on the side, and then we'll drive this over here. But let me see this here. Okay, that's probably the best I've got for now anyway, without ruining the fact that I'm just recording this. So the exposure is currently at -11 and it's pitch black. Okay, if I bring the exposure up and just keep bringing it up, it gets as high as -2 and it's still pretty much pitch black. Let's zoom out. There we go. So it's pitch black whether it's at -11 or -2, and we can keep doing this, but nothing will change. I could even turn on a light. Let's use this light, for instance. That'll bring it up so that I am semi-visible. But the issue with this is that at -2 exposure, I am sitting at probably the lowest FPS you can ever want to be at. So if you look at my hands, they're gonna blur into each other. That is not something you want with video content or recording. Now, to get your video FPS back, you're gonna actually have to bring the exposure down. Even though you can't see me right now, the frame rate is a lot better. It's up to that top 30 FPS you can get at 1080p. Now let's go back up to -2 so you can actually see me. But this is the issue. So to fix this, you actually have to, let's try hit default. So we're gonna hit default quick. Didn't do anything. All that did is move it to -6. And then as you can see, still not working right. Hit default again. We're gonna sit down here at -11, okay? Now this is how you fix this. It's the only way to fix this after starting it up, and sometimes it doesn't work. You have to go over to exposure, and then you have to click on auto. It'll automatically shoot you back up, and then you want to turn off auto. Now I'm still at -11 exposure, but I look as good as I did at about, let's say, -1 exposure without auto being turned on and off. Now you can move over the exposure and it'll get this bright all the way up to that. So obviously something changed inside. Like, okay, let's turn off the light again. As you can see, on -2 you can still see me, and all the way as down as, let's say, let's go -6. -6 is about where I'd say would be a good spot to have me. My face is red because of the phone in front of my face, but as you can see, it's better, much better. Let's actually maybe turn the exposure, I don't know. Either way is a lot brighter than it was. I'm able to stay visible even within like a mid-range here in exposure. And then when I do want to turn on a light, which I'm using a better light than the one that comes with it, I can turn that on and then drop my exposure down. So we can go to about right here. So let's try -2 or -10. -10 will be the best because it's brighter, meaning the aperture can be a little, the exposure can be lower, making it so that the frame rate's the best possible. Before, if you use the other one, you actually have to have it farther to the right, and that makes it a lot harder. Yeah, sorry, it was laggy for a second for some reason, but as you can see, it's not blurry, it's high quality, and you're able to do it relatively easily. Now, this is an issue that Razer does not know why it's being caused. When you go into the settings here, it should say, instead of USB video device over here, it should say Razer Kiyo. When I first bought this, it said Razer Kiyo, so there may have been an issue with the firmware, with a firmware update somewhere, or an update to Razer Synapse. I know Razer Synapse down here, it actually has the same issue. So if I deactivate my camera, So let's hit that button. We're gonna deactivate my camera in here, and if I open up enable preview over in here, as you can see, it's back to being broken. Like, I didn't change any settings after closing that. All I hit was OK, which it would have saved the settings. And then you go over here and look, it's still at -10. But the aperture, whenever the camera turns off, the aperture, I'm guessing, is like messed with, because as you can see, this is not where it's supposed to be. You have to hit auto again to get it back. So this is what you want, but then the camera just doesn't want to do it on its own, and you have to go into the settings every time to fix it. What? I'm sorry.
I want some chicken because I'm
Kid just eating lunch. Okay. But now, as you can see, even like I can turn off low light compensation. It doesn't do a thing. Let's turn this on and off. Low light, nothing, not a thing. But as you can see, this is an issue that is within the camera itself. It doesn't want to save certain settings. It doesn't want to maintain them, even though obviously the properties for the camera are the same. So let me, no, I'm not going to show you, but even if I save them here and I transfer the camera over to the other computer over here, well, over here, but over there in the camera footage, if I transferred it to that one, it would show the exact same thing. It'll be darker, and it just isn't fun. But hope you guys found this helpful. If you want a different kind of setup, let me know. I can try to make something work. But as you can see, yeah, the camera is just not saving its settings. Well, it's saving its settings, but I'm guessing there's another setting that they're not allowing you to change that's causing it to do this. So again, you just go into camera, you just click auto and turn it off, and then it resets it. The aperture iris setting here is grayed out. You can't actually change it, but I'm sure that if you could, you'd be able to fix this. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.